Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of AWBoy'Z, an unofficial Actwres girls podcast hosted by me, SadJabroni. Now, when Chris and I were putting together the first episode of AWBoy'Z, we were bouncing ideas off each other, and one of Chris's ideas was giving him 45 minutes to praise Madi. And while I think that she's deserving of the praise, I had to say no. So in episode 2, we're going to praise Madi for probably about an hour and a half because Madi is champion. And that's so exciting to talk about. So we do dive a little bit into what's going on right now. We go a little bit into the unit shows, and Chris tells about his experience at the AJPW show, but 75%, maybe 80% of this show is us just talking about Madi and how she went from doing ninja shows at Narita Airport to a debut in a boxing gym that was once the home base for Muhammad Ali to now being a world champion. So come along on this ride for us as we look back at the career of one of the most influential people currently in AWG. Welcome aboard, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Thank you again for hosting. I'm always down for the praise.
Thanks for
praise train.
Yeah, it has been a wonderful couple of weeks for Mari enthusiasts, and we've been praising Mari every day ever since, and every day before, but just more so since. And so since Korakuen, there was a couple of things going on. So one of them was the partnership with AJPW, and we talked about it in the previous episode.
That's right.
And you were at the shows, correct?
That's right, because they said there was going to be Actwres time, and I was like, well, guess what, All Japan? That means I'm there.
It is Actwres time. It is Chris Lee time.
That's right.
So what was your experience there? And how do you feel it went over? Because I've heard mixed reviews, but I think that overall the girls did great from what I saw.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I think I will be the first to admit, like even as a clearly an ultra AWG fan, they didn't like change the world. Like the fans weren't getting up out of their seats, standing ovation style or anything, but it wasn't like this disaster. And I think you have to remember there's other things kind of going on. That's another company in flux. Maybe ironically, that Actwres Girls has joined a company that's currently in a big big change, right? In the middle of a big change right now. I don't want to go deep into it because also I don't know the full situation, but they have a president who's trying to make some moves. They've made alliances that are not only Actwres Girls. They've reached across the ocean to the NXTs. And they said, hey, send us your boy. So we got Regal Jr., which Regal Jr. From what I've heard, his first match at least was not super well received, but by that third match, that championship shot he had, he was over. The people were cheering for him. So it sometimes just takes time. I also know that some people are maybe confused about this Actwres Girls alliance, especially since All Japan has basically has their own women's project, which is Evo Girls, it was fantastic. It's produced Zones and Chi-Chi, which are excellent wrestlers. Unfortunately, Sunny had to retire very early, but they have another rookie in the pipe. So I think there is a bit of already a bit of kind of like they're on a back foot coming in, right? So I think that's some of it. I think, of course, lack of familiarity with a huge roster of talent.
Yeah, it is a lot of people. Because I was watching the show and like it cuts from like a AJPW match, and then like maybe 2/3 of the Actwres roster or half of the Actwres roster. Still a lot of people descend on the ring and do the love riddle dance.
Yeah.
It is just a crazy scene to witness, and if you don't know anything about Actress girls, I could see why. Like I can't. What? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Let,
Yeah,
let me make this clear. There was like nothing. There was like no preamble. It wasn't like before the show they were running like trailers about, hey, this is
yeah.
Actress Girls, or they had the performers out, or Fuka didn't come on the stage and explain the concept. Like, just to make it clear, Fuka was sitting behind me with her family. Sakaguchi was nowhere to be seen. I saw him in the back later. I had to use the washroom. He was talking to the president. Uh, so like he was not even. I don't think he was out. I believe he was up in the in the stands watching the whole thing from up top. Um,
Incredible.
so that first uh, appearance, the first actress time, which I enjoyed, and was, I think it was a brave choice to go with the Asako, the great Asako match first. You
Yeah,
know,
and I think that's part of where some, like, I see the criticism about it. Like, the crowd wasn't the crowd was. I think it was that, like, you had Asako,
yeah,
who has been doing the great Asako character for quite a few months, and I feel like if
yes,
you didn't have the background of, like, oh, she's been doing this for months, you would think, oh, they're just trying to just kind of make fun of what they're doing with in Noah with
yes,
Muta's daughter, but they've been doing this before that. They accidentally fell into this by being completely ridiculous. So
right,
yeah, there's some, like, context that you're just not going to get if you're not someone who follows it, especially if your first experience with Actress girls is them just rushing the rushing the Korakuen floor to Love Riddle.
yes, yeah. Um, so to be honest, one of the things I probably would have done in retrospect, and I think they even realize it too, was I probably would have put the second day's tag match, which was more or less a straight tag match, up first, and then I
Yeah.
would have done the Asako match the next day if
Yeah,
you
it
wanted to
seemed
go
like
that way.
a an easier introduction for people. Just, hey,
Yeah.
even if you do the Love Real dance before, they do the dance and they have a straightforward tag match that's solid between four solid wrestlers, and then you could get into the gimmicky stuff after you've introduced everyone, and maybe you could have had a Sako at the end do something silly on the first one, but people would have probably enjoyed the original match better. So
Yes. Yes.
I think it really is like the lack of introduction, like a true introduction, just the lack of knowledge about what Actress even is for those fans, because it's very different than AJPW,
Yeah.
and maybe a little bit of a difference in styles on paper, but when you look at the four in especially the second tag match, it does mesh up pretty well. But I think on paper the two promotions are kind of far apart. And then you think about, like, some of the criticisms were that, oh, you know, they're not really wrestling Actress girls, so why are you inviting them to our show? But
Right.
another guest was from WWE. It was Dempsey, right? So having him over, WWE is very much like, we're not wrestling, we're sports entertainment. So it's two very, like, conceptually similar moments that one is seen a little bit differently, while one was just like, I won't say it was accepted out of the gate was WWE's partnership, but it was a little bit more acceptable when you saw, like, the way it meshed in the ring. So I think that Actress could have set themselves up for a similar moment, a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I think definitely a little bit of an order issue, but again,
yeah,
I don't think it was a complete disaster. I think also, again, we're coming into a time where the fans are already like, we fear change,
yeah.
and then
Most,
you
yeah,
bring maybe the most different form of pro wrestling in Japan right now
yeah,
into the
and
promotion.
yeah, and I've heard, like, the negative reviews are not necessarily of the matches, of the reception, the crowd.
Yes.
I think that you can't not, like, start to feel something watch, like, especially that second match. From what I've
Yes.
heard, like, it did get going and people started getting a little bit into it, but there's just always a disconnect. These shows can get long. You have 2 days of it. It definitely, doesn't help, but it is better to have, more eyes on it. If they gain even like 5 fans from the shows, it's gonna be worth it.
And I think they did. To
Yeah,
be honest, I think, on that point, I think they got some new eyes on them because by the end there was more than a couple of people. I mean, they're like, "What is this? This is interesting."
Yeah.
Um, Again, I think something that struck me was there was a young fan who was kind of just with their parents, and they were like, "They're fun wrestling," but so they perked up a little bit when they saw the actress girls because like, "Oh, this is not my dad's wrestling," you know?
To see like younger women see it and go, wow, like this is something very interesting, something different, and maybe it's something that they would consider doing in the future, or just something inspiration to see like powerful women do something in that realm.
Yeah.
It's a powerful statement, even if it's not something they were intentionally trying to make.
There, I think now that the ice is broken, you bring
Yeah,
them in to say, "Oh, by the way," you know what would help too? Announcing where on the card it's going to be, because they literally just like all of a sudden it's like, boom,
it,
it's actress
it
time. It's
came
like
out
an
of
alarm goes
nowhere. The
off.
love riddle just boom
Yeah.
right after a match. I don't think the guys left the ring yet.
Which I appreciate. There's a part of me that was like,
it's
yes, this
It
is how
was
I
such
want
a
it.
funny moment for me,
Yeah.
like watching it. Just the it's so abrupt. It's so
Yeah.
abrupt.
Like the second day the Fuku's there, and so the second day Fuku goes down to do
Yeah,
the
she did
little
commentary,
commentary
right? Yeah.
introduction.
So
It's like, it's actress time. I'm like, ah, sweet, here we
yeah,
go.
like maybe she should have been on there the first night too, and I think that was an adjustment they
Yeah.
made for the second
You know,
night to go, hey, here's some context for what the hell you're watching, because
yes,
this is a whiplash inducing experience from what you just saw and
100%.
what you're going to see later on in the show. So yeah, it's something that like it isn't even like the in ring stuff that clashes. I feel like with AJPW, it is the the love riddle and the just the colorful playfulness of Actress when
Yes,
you first see them. It's very it is a very sharp, quick turn when they come out. And I think was it you who said it? It was like an invasion. Like they just really, it really
literally.
was like they just
Yeah,
all came out at once.
yeah,
Yeah, and if you're familiar with the promotion, you know how energetic they are and how they always go full throttle with Love Riddle. So
yeah.
yeah, it.
And I was hyped too because they came out to the not just Love Riddle. They did their little new dance that they
Oh yeah,
debuted
they
in that
did. Yep,
Aeon Mall
yep,
to the non copyright song archive. I'm rich,
yep.
so, um, which I thought was great.
Yep.
Uh, so again, I think Fuka on the should have probably been there out there on the first day. Although I will say, like, maybe one of the greatest moments of the whole New Year's run was when Fuka tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Oh my God, your Mari sweater is amazing. Thank you for coming out to support us." And I was like, "Oh,
Cool.
you know,
Yeah.
what a great year."
Yep.
But yeah, again, there's definitely another young girl there that I thought like this was the first time seeing it because you with my limited Japanese, I could tell she's like, who are these people? This is kind of fun. And she was getting excited. I was like, oh, this is good. This is actually kind of what
Yeah.
I was hoping for.
Yeah, you really want to see that. Like, I don't know, you see it a lot with Actress girls. A lot of the young fans and the young female fans, and you
Yes.
want to see like that as a growing fan base, especially with so many strong women role models in across Joshi in general. So it's just
Yeah.
really nice to see that, and you get maybe get their attention with a dance and some bright, colorful things, but you show them
Yeah.
the power that lies within. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
And you know what? They showed them the future. They showed them Koki.
Like, yeah, that's all you gotta do is show them Koki.
Koki.
Yep.
Because like I joke about it. We all joke about Koki. But like
Yeah,
yeah,
and
straight up, she came out and I was like, well, who is this? She's
yeah,
tall, really athletic.
yeah,
You're
and
like,
I'm
wow.
like, I've I've been critical about her on actress stage, just more, not necessarily her ability, just kind of the progression of her character, but
Yeah.
she is still like maybe the most attention grabbing person on the roster because she's tall and she like does the amethyst butterfly
Yeah.
splash. She does such cool stuff in the ring, and she just grabs attention everywhere she
Yeah.
goes, and you keep
She
hearing like,
has
oh,
presence.
like yeah, a lot of like fans from other promotions are like that might they go, oh, Koki, like who's Koki, like they say, oh, or their favorite actress girl is Koki, and it's just really like she has the power to draw people
Yeah.
just from her presence. So
I mean,
you know,
what was it? One of our, I think all of our favorite English Japanese pro wrestling translators, Mr. Hakusan,
mhm.
even post tweeted once. I keep hearing about Koki, and I was like, yeah, of course you did, sir,
Yep,
because
yep,
it's Koki.
exactly.
She's so hot right now. That's just all in my mind constantly. Anytime I say Koki, I'm just doing the Zoolander. Will Ferrell, she's so hot right now. That's Koki. She's so hot right now.
People are talking about her, and like she's got a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
So it's
And
it,
again at merch, there's that one young girl. Like they put like hilariously at the merch table. I don't know if this was planned or not. So a couple of things. So after day one, um, the first they did the first little actress time thing, and then I like all right, I had fun. Obviously, like I said, I could sense the crowd was like mixed, and then I'm walking backstage. I see Sakaguchi and Fukuda. Fukuda, is that the new president's name?
believe
Fukuda,
so.
right? Yeah. We'll call it Mr. F. I saw Mr. F, and they were like back there, and I could see it. I could read their body language. They're like, oh, maybe this wasn't the best way we we could
Yeah,
execute things. And
and
I go back for merch because of course I have to. And Actress Girls has their table, and right smack in the middle is Nakajima. Like literally, their champ. Now I understand he's a
ooh,
freelancer. It makes sense he wouldn't be at the All Japan table. So
but hey,
um,
that's a good spot
it's a good
for
spot, but like,
everyone.
yeah, but like to be honest, his line was solid, but I think the Actress Girls were getting some good traffic there with him sitting there, not because
Oh,
of him, because of people like,
amazing.
why?
So they
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Well, I'm gonna get this Miku portrait, and I guess I'll get something from Nakajima
I
if
guess
I
I'll get
because
Nakajima's. I don't know.
his line isn't that long.
Yeah, yeah. And again, remember the girl I was talking about earlier, the young girl I noticed, like, was with the family. And this is also the young girl. If you watch that All Japan show, I think day one, Ikiman grabs her. I don't know if they cut away from it because she starts crying so
Oh
badly.
no!
I started laughing
Oh
because again,
no!
Ikiman does the thing where he runs the kid down to the
Yeah,
ring, and it's all fun and games. But this girl was not having it, and you can see Ikiman just like put her down. He literally, like, you know him. He's running around doing the funny, I'm not going to get in the ring. He immediately goes in the ring and he's like, all right, this is done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that kid. Because I've traumatized you, so now the song and dance is finished. And I'm just laughing my ass off. But then later, yeah, she's at the table. Whole family's trying to get a selfie with, get the four shot, whatever. It's like a family of four with Nakajima. Girls aren't having it. She looks over because right next to Nakajima is Koki, and she's just
Koki,
like, "Whoa, now this is a
Koki.
star." And I'm like, "That yes, yes, young
That's
lady, you are
that's good
correct."
to hear.
Yeah, and
That's
Koki
good
was
to
real
hear.
cool with her. Koki's like, "Oh, what's your name?" and like let her touch her nails, and it was a really nice little moment between her.
Cool.
And I think that calmed her down after the trauma of Ikimen almost kidnapping her and etc. But I will say this, you know what? Ikimen is a great example of someone I think you have to see a couple of times. Because if you see that gimmick once, it makes almost no sense in a vacuum
Yeah,
of him running out with a jacket to this song, which is hype. It's a hype song. But the third, fourth time, you're like, oh yeah, Ikimen. I get it.
yeah,
So Ikimen Jiro, totally a thing. And that brings me to another thing. I would like to see the Ikimen team that we saw on the 1-5
ooh,
show
yes,
teaming with Ikimen Jiro. I think that would be
yes.
actually a moneymaker.
Let's go. I love that idea. I just need more Ikemen team in general. So
Yes.
any
That
vessel
was
to
an
get
amazing
more of
match.
that will
Yeah.
be necessary.
I may have watched that match twice because
It
it was
was
so good.
good, and we got a little Hollywood Koki looking in there,
Oh, that
dark
was a look.
gear, and that was very good. Everyone looked
Spe-
good
spe-
in that.
yeah.
Everyone had a lot of fun with that, and just
I,
another like
uh,
thing that I love about Actwres girls and their
yeah.
roster is like is their willingness to just kind of push gender, uh, like in the ring in their typical characters. It's very feminine and very actress girls, but outside the ring and some of them inside the ring, and then it was so obvious in this match they were playing with like with that it was just cool to see. And you have genderless actors, and you have
Yes.
um, Naru, who's non-binary or ex-gender, and you have just and Kyoka on Kyoka's Twitter, or it might have been on her blog. One of her goals was to get a leading role as a male character on a show.
Yes.
So it's just something that like I've always liked about the roster is that they're not, even though the company is called Actwres Girls, there is a lot of gender fluidity within it, and this match was like just such a fun example of that.
Yes, and it was just yeah, it was a great match. It tied into their whole photo shoot, which I have to get the directory. And
Yeah, mine's on
yeah,
its way.
it was a really fun match. Also, it was nice to see Rico break out the Arisa Hoshiki gear
Yep.
one more time, and
And like that was
have
Kyoka's
some fun.
best match in a while too. It was just
Yeah,
I feel like she had a lot of fire on that one. She had a lot of fun.
yeah,
Uh, Nothing against like her other matches. I really feel like though that it felt like refreshing. 'Cause I feel like
yes,
she's been a little like confusing to follow, and that was like the most well defined she's been in a while. And it was just all right. Let's just go crazy, and she had a lot of fun. Like she did that back elbow that just had a little extra
yes,
on it. It's just
and
fun.
yeah. I guess speaking of her wanting to do a lead male role, her challenge for a hair match against Miku.
Yeah,
To be cynical, I would not be surprised if she has like a, sh- a role that requires a short haircut, and she's decided to to throw
that's
it
a
on this
fun way to
match.
do it. Exactly, it's a fun way to do it to set that up. So,
Or
and
or,
it's
or or Miku wants a haircut. Maybe Miku wants a
yeah,
haircut.
new
Who
look.
knows?
She lost the belt. She's got to figure something out.
Lost the
Maybe
belt.
she'll join Jadoshu.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I doubt
what a
that, but you never
drink
know,
the
right?
green juice, ride the
Exactly.
snake.
You never know. In actress skills, anything can happen. That's what Jim Ross
Yep,
says.
that's what Jim Ross has said before.
Yeah.
I heard him.
So on December 29th,
Yes.
Mari
Going back in time
going
to
back in
the
time,
one of the greatest moments in our sport.
Mari
Actwres.
defeated Miku Aono to claim her first ever championship.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
let's just start things off with how did she get there? It's been a long path for Mari to become
yeah.
a world champion, and it starts way beyond pro wrestling. So, if I remember correctly, she was discovered when she was doing one of her ninja shows.
That is correct,
Yes,
yeah.
and those
Mari, a
go
real ninja,
a real
according to her
ninja.
biography.
Yeah, she is a real ninja. She's part of a live action ninja crew. It's an educational thing. AST, which is what action stunt technique, and so they would do, and they still do. They do performances, and you could look on their YouTube, and it goes back to like what 15 years or so, and they do performances at Narita Airport or like in malls, like cultural sites, and they educate people, tourists, uh, children about the history of ninjas, and they show different ninja fighting techniques, and they do like some story driven performances as well. So a lot of those techniques are something that would translate into professional wrestling pretty easily, and somebody spotted and was like, okay, this is what you are going to be great for this. So, and again, she is a real ninja. A part of being an educational entertainment ninja from the AST, she also is a member and instructor for the Musahi clan, I believe.
That's right.
And that lineage of that clan can be traced back to the 1500s. And so that is also a bit of an educational thing. But Mary is like certified with them, and they do things like classes also with children. They do educational appearances. They do stuff for NHK docs, and I believe that their dojo is open to the public. So on the front of Mari's gear is the AST logo. That's the flame looking one,
That's right.
and on the back, between her shoulders, is the Musahi clan uh, logo. So she represents both of them, even on her wrestling gear. And
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so she's been doing that kind of stuff. She's also did like the Ninjago show at Legoland in Tokyo.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
she has history doing all these kinds of ninja things before she was a pro wrestler.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably the only legitimate ninja in pro wrestling.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it is absolutely a thing, and uh, she has the credentials, she has the training, she's been doing it
Lineage.
for what
Yeah.
15. She herself's been doing it for at least what 15 years, and you add in the actual lineage of the people that she's worked with, including yeah, I don't know how legitimate. Maybe I'm buying into kayfabe by
Could be a bit. It could be a bit, but you know what?
saying that it comes from 1582 and it was formed by Shinobi Shibata and but it there's a love of the history there and a want
Yeah.
to share it. And even if it is made up or kayfabe or whatever, there is a respect and a love for the history and a want
Yeah.
to learn and respect those who did it hundreds of years ago and do it their way, and a discipline there that has been part of Mari's career as a performer since day one.
I think, yeah, the ninja persona is core to her whole character throughout her entire wrestling career as well.
Yeah, it's not just a gimmick. It is her. She is
Yes.
that. And I feel like you look at it and you go, that's a fun gimmick. Like it is a gimmick to an extent, but she has actually been part of that. That has been such a huge part of her life, and almost for like the entirety of her adult life has been being this performer, historical performer, someone who lives by those those values. So it's been very, very, very cool to see her become a world champion later on while still repping like those the ninja clans and the ninja stuff and still doing it because it she wouldn't be there without it.
Yes.
So how does somebody who does ninja shows at Narita Airport end up debuting at Gleason's gym in Brooklyn?
Yes.
So this is a fun one that I feel like a lot of people don't realize. But Mari's first wrestling match was at Gleason's gym in Brooklyn as part. It was not her first official match. Her official match had come a few months later, but so she debuted on a joint show between Reina, CMLL, and World of Unpredictable Wrestling.
Yeah. WW.
Yeah, which was run by Johnny Rots, which is insane. Which means that technically Mari has a connection to Taz and Tommy Dreamer and the Dudley Boys
Yep.
in that sense. So very very funny that we got ECW Mari as
I
well.
have no idea if that footage is anywhere, but if anyone knows where that show, it's the August 29th, 2015 show of
Yep.
WWW. If
And
you got tape, let me know, guys.
I don't
I
know
will.
if tape exists of that. I doubt it, but if it does, I would love to see it.
Someone set up like a VHS camera somewhere in that arena, even if it's just for their own
Some-
tape study,
Someone's got
and
a
I
cell
want it.
phone footage in the back somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody did like record it because of Mari's debut or something.
2015, people
Yeah,
had iPhones.
yeah.
Not many, but
There's got
people
to be
had them.
something out there. So
Yeah.
any footage,
Camcorders
let
were
us
still a
know.
thing.
Any footage, let us know. But also on that show was an early on Wendy Chu,
Yeah.
very
Ooh.
early career Wendy Chu as well, who's now in NXT. So very, very, very cool to see some of the names on that card, and they're in different places, but started in Gleason's gym in Brooklyn.
There you
Very
go.
strange, but very cool little footnote there. Uh, yeah. So then she returned to Japan.
Yeah.
So it's
Proper
crazy
debut
that your
was
first
January.
well she had two pre-debut matches.
Right.
One against Shuri,
Yep.
and then one against Yuina Onosaka,
Yep.
and they're both draws, which is kind of impressive for a debut. Well, I mean, Shuri, that's impressive. A
Yes.
5 minute draw,
Even at
15
this
draw.
time, Shuri was, I think, considered quite the child, like she was considered a pretty strong wrestler at the time, even since her debut.
Yeah.
Especially with her background in MMA, and I believe this was around the time she was getting into UFC.
Yeah. Yeah. So I figured,
So
like, we're just watching that match back and seeing it go to the time limit was really, really cool. And seeing Mari just in t-shirt and shorts with some knee pads, it's a different image, but it did kind of give you the whole idea of what she was going to become with some striking and some submission stuff. She hits like an elbow, and she looks so proud of herself, and she's like, "Yeah, like you go." And then her official debut was also against Shuri in January of 2016, and that was a fun match too. I rewatched that. It went 10 minutes, and like that's where you start seeing the ninja coming out.
that's right.
Yep. So you were at a lot of those Reina shows, weren't you?
Yeah. So my introduction to uh, the legend that is Mari was at Reina. That Reina was probably the first Joshi Pro promotion I followed intensely because I got into Joshi Pro because of Kana, like a lot of us, I think. And
Yep.
I caught just the end of her run in Japan. I was literally there at the last Korakuen show, and that's where I learned about Konami. Konami being her only disciple, her only trainee, and then learning that Konami was in Reina. So that's how that
Yep.
that connection happened. Now, at that time, Shuri was there. Shida was technically still aligned with Reina. There's a couple others, but really, Reina of that era was Makoto, who was the
Mm-hmm.
ace, Konami, Yuina, and Mari. I would say that was the order of like the pecking order of
Yeah.
the four of them, right? Because I think Yuina had a slightly earlier debut date, so that puts her slightly lower in the pecking order.
Yeah. I
Or
think they,
that's what
they
I'm
did a they
thinking.
did they had a pre-debut match against each other, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right.
yeah.
And
Uh,
yeah, that
Shout out to Yuina, an underrated talent, and
yep.
yeah, one day I will go to her Reina's dream. She, I believe she is the current flag bearer for Reina, so I
Yes.
gotta support her. But yeah, I remember in those early days, it was obviously I was there just getting into Joshi Pro Wrestling. Uh, Very impressed with Makoto because by that point Makoto again huge star as far as like the independent Joshi scene. Uh, she was carrying all the belts for that promotion at the time. And then Hikaru Shida and Suri were kind of in and out. They were clearly home basing there, but doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I believe I saw her tag with Shida a couple of times, which was quite good.
Yeah.
Um, I gotta go back in the archives and try to refresh my memory. But yeah, I remember she always seemed like she was all in on it. Like she was dedicated. Um, she would work pretty much every Reina show. I think it was, yeah. Again, those four would basically be always on the card, and then like a lot of small Joshi promotions, independent promotions, they filled their card with people from other small promotions, Pure J,
Yep.
um, Stardom at the time. Occasionally, we had I
Mm-hmm.
think Kyrie came over a couple of times. I got to check back, but I remember very distinctly there was like either a Reina or a Stardom show where it was half Reina, half Stardom. I want to say it's the first time I saw Haruka Kato as well. Um, uh, and then what do I remember here? But also again, Reina was my introduction to Actwres girls because that was like probably the first time I started seeing Actwres girls wrestlers.
Yeah. And when I went back and I was watching the pre-debut show, the pre-debut match of hers that happened at Korakuen, that was a show where they had an actress feature match with Ano and Natsupoi and was it Tai and was it Kakura or was it I don't remember who was in the fourth one, but yeah, it was one of the offer matches from back in the day, and it
Yeah,
was it was there on the card, and it was just really kind of cool to watch Marty in the day in her like pre-debut, and then kind of the Actwres girls starting to kind of figure out at this point like what their whole thing was. So it was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Like those early days of Actress Girls, very similar to, I guess, even this generation. They were just trying to get the formula down.
Yeah, yeah. And it started like, okay, these are the stars of the promotion, and that was a fun
Yes.
match. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And
when I look at her first year, and you look at some of the opponents that she had, including Shida, Emi Sakura,
yep.
Maya Yukihi, Akane Fujita, uh, Sakushi. So just kind of crazy to think about that history there of just the first year of her in Reina and her first year. These are all names that like are like massive now, even massive then, and she was surrounded by such amazing talent from day one, whether they were regulars in Reina or they were people coming through and putting on a match with her. You're going to learn a lot just by putting a match together with someone like an Emi Sakura.
Yeah. I think it was a great. Again, that era of Reina, maybe somewhat forgotten, but it was a great era for like just having a lot of talent crossing over, a lot of matches you would not think about nowadays, and
Yeah,
that was a great way to get introduced to Joshi Pro Wrestling. I felt
yeah,
someone needs to archive all of that and put it on the internet because
yeah. I have some of the DVDs, and that's what I was going through last night. I don't have there's no real complete collection online, but I have some DVDs that I purchased from the website, and
yeah,
just
I,
going
I
back
got a
through them,
handful of.
going through them, and just really watching and just really like how special it was. And you see a lot of the production is similar to Actress Girls, so
Yes.
it's very the editing and stuff. It's very similar.
Yeah.
So
I
it
mean, I think there were literally times where Reina would do a show and then like literally after was Actress Girls.
yeah
So
yeah, but it those early days that really were formative for her and probably gave her the confidence to do something bigger in the future, and it definitely probably instilled like a love for pro wrestling in her because those names that she was working with, I don't know how you couldn't.
yeah, and she was loyal to Reina all the way to the end. I always
Yep.
remember that. Like there were like even when Reina was like because Reina I think really started to suffer. Obviously, Konami left. That
Yeah.
was a big hit. Um, which fair. She was destined to be a big star. Uh, and I think one of the bigger problems was Makoto like was hurt for almost a year. I believe it was her
Yeah.
neck, and that was like basically the ace was down. So it actually really came down to like Mari and Yuina for a while, kind of doing all the wrestling with a lot of Actress Girls and outside
Yep.
talents.
Yeah, and
But
it's hard to sustain a company, and you see what's happening
yeah,
like with Seedling, and yeah, it's you're hoping that you don't that they don't suffer the same kind of fate. But again, they were such a powerhouse,
yeah, yeah.
and to really, you know, to see some any kind of company go through that kind of stuff, you want to see them bounce back. But people ended up elsewhere. I mean, Sheeta
Oh
went to
yeah,
AEW, and it's Konami in Stardom,
obviously,
and
yeah,
yeah. So people's goals change, people's goals shift, and it it really did kind of I don't know because Mari ended up in Actress Girls,
that's right. And
and
that was like a pretty, I think, seamless transition because again, by
yeah,
the end of Reina, she was doing Actress Girl shows already.
yeah, and like
Uh,
even when
in Reina,
on Raina shows, she was teaming with people from
yeah,
Actress or against.
that's
So
right.
there was she fit from day one.
Yes, yeah,
So she's the perfect fit, and like from a guest to in 2018, full time member of the promotion.
that's right. I remember. I mean, that is she is part of the reason I actually finally went to an Actress Girls show. Again, Actress Girls was a promotion I was always aware of when I was getting into Joshi Pro because they were always around. Like they were
Yeah,
filling Reina cards, even early Stardom. They were there
yeah,
helping out fill out cards, and so I'd always been aware of them. And they were always kind of like this weird promotion that was like I don't again, the
Yeah.
first time you see an Actress Girls show, you're like, what is happening?
Especially then, that was like back when like you'd
Yeah,
have Christmas trees with guns or whatever.
yeah,
Like it was a very strange promotion to witness for the first time.
yeah, yeah,
And if you were going based on like what was available for people who weren't at the shows, you had no idea what you were walking into.
yeah. And yeah, so I to be honest, what finally broke the ice was, oh, Mari has joined uh Actress Girls and she's in colors. And also I had seen more of Saki because I was going to more Gato shows. And Saki, I think, had recently transferred herself to colors as well to Actress Girls. I was like, oh well, Mari's there, and I'm enjoying Saki's work,
Yeah,
so let's check it out. And sure enough, I was like, oh, this is fantastic.
yeah.
You know?
I think like just you got to get your foot in the door with Actress Girls. You got to like that's kind of you want to set people up for with a reason to watch and enjoy rather than just get confused at it for the first time you see it and then eventually you get it because like I always felt like if you were deep enough in to know what Actress Girls was
Yeah,
you'd probably enjoy Actress Girls.
that's right.
If you've heard the name you'll probably enjoy it. And that era of Actress was kind of incredible. The talent that was there and people were coming through and you had the first Korakuen, which is up there for my favorite wrestling shows of all time.
That first Korakuen was amazing. I'm glad I went to it because that was again it's kind of spur of the moment after just
Yeah,
watching I think one color show or something.
yeah,
Did I? I can't remember. I can't remember. Was Korakuen my first Actress Girl show? No, 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 no. I think I went to one after before
okay,
that or something.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, she went in and she was like full on. I'm an Actress Girl now, with the
yep,
same energy she had for Reina, for pushing Reina.
yep,
Learn the dance.
yep. And it's
Um,
always funny watching an outsider learn the dance
yeah,
and do that. 'Cause that's a big part of the presentation is that's what really makes you part of the promotion is doing Love Berlin in colors. Saki had some great choreography she was
oh
doing
boy,
pre-show, and just think
yeah,
of the denim jacket look for colors is my all-time favorite.
Candy
Candy,
Smile is
Candy
still
Smile,
maybe my favorite.
absolutely, yeah.
Candy Smile
So and
dance.
even in color, she was in a backseat, rookie-ish role, even though she wasn't really a rookie at that point.
Yeah,
She did take a bit of a backseat role, and you look at who else was in colors, and then when colors kind of started being taken a little bit more seriously, because they were founded right around the time of that first Korakuen,
yes,
and it Saki was in the main event of the first Korakuen, and it that like first big show they trusted her and Ano like the leader of beginning pretty much that would be the two going forward.
yes,
It really kind of set the tone for what was going to happen in Actress Girls. And then when Colors was formed, and it took them a bit to really become as influential as what they were doing with Beginning, but kind of keeping them separate really made people like Mari and uh, you know Hikari and stuff start to really shine when maybe they wouldn't have if the roster was one big crew because they brought in different guests for the beginning crew than they would for the colors crew, and it
yes,
all
yeah,
meshed really really well. And that was part of what really drew me into them originally was watching these shows and the guests they would bring in for the beginning shows and the color shows would be so different despite it being the same promotion, but they would so perfectly complement the wrestlers that it would be such a just a great just you learn a lot about watching the wrestlers wrestling those specific guests.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was I felt that was a really cool era, just to
Yeah.
see the crossover and the growth of
Yeah.
everyone because of
Yeah.
that crossover.
It was so rapid, especially in colors watching. Like I feel like beginning because it's rooted from, the first show.
Yes, literally
They
the beginning of the promotion.
yeah. So that crew was a little bit more solid than colors. Colors you just had a felt like it was almost like I wouldn't say thrown together, but it felt very much more like this kind of uncontrollable energy that just need
Yeah.
to be focused somewhere. While
Very, very,
beginning knew what they
very
kind of were.
Saki like. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Beginning knew what they were going into the first Korakuen, while colors didn't exist, but it was just this undeniable energy that was brewing underneath the promotion that
Look,
just needed a someone at the head to focus it, and that was, ended up being
you put
Sakura.
Ayumi in there. You put Washoy in there. You've
Yeah,
got unlimited energy.
yeah, exactly. And then you just, I mean, and just Matsui, and
Oh
it
gosh,
was just what a great crew and a great time to
what
be
a
a fan.
fantastic.
Yeah, and then
But before we get too far, I do want to shout out the around this time too was the Mari jewelry era, as I call it, where for fans may or may not remember following Mari during this time. There was maybe every twice a day there'd be like a tweet going out about like earrings, like handmade earrings she would make. And I'm 90% sure it was just like a bot she'd set up that would set up these tweets to like a dead website, and she had no control over it. But I just remember always seeing it going like, "Is she still doing this?" Because she would bring it to the show. She'd bring her handmade earrings, and I regret not buying them for hilarity's sake.
that's
Um,
pretty great.
but every time I saw those tweets go up, that bot tweet, if anyone is a fan of the sketch comedy show Portlandia, um, the making jewelry sketch, she's making jewelry now, basically played in my head every time I saw that tweet, and I couldn't stop laughing. One day I'm gonna ask if she has any earrings left over, because I wouldn't mind a pair, just to, I don't know, just to own. I'm never gonna get my ears pierced, but
Amazing.
who knows?
That's
She was
amazing.
making jewelry then, so
The insanely talented Mari Sakamoto.
yeah.
She can do literally anything.
Yeah, if anyone out there owns Mari Sakamoto made earrings, hit me up. I may be in the market.
And perhaps no better example of her artistry and creativity than ARG and what she's doing there.
Yes, yeah, there we go. So yeah, let's talk about old Actress, her generation, Colors Beginnings generation, closed out, and she probably had the option. She could have gone and done great as a freelancer. I have no
Yep.
doubt. Um, she could have gone the way of Naokakuta and gone to
Yeah.
Tokyo Joshi. I think that would have been a good.
She could have signed somewhere. She could have become a freelancer. She really had a lot of options, and I think
Yeah,
people liked her. And I mean, she appeared other places, and
yeah.
a lot. It's like people like her, and
I mean, you she is just from a visual perspective an eye-catching talent. You see a ninja with this giant sword, and you're like, what's going on? I need to
yep,
know more.
yep,
But yeah, so like
yeah,
she had options, but she decided to stay, technically ending her professional wrestling career for the
yes.
time being,
But there
and
was good
becoming a full-time
reasons to
actor.
stay.
Yeah.
There were good reasons to stay. Now, if she left, that would have probably ended Action Ring Girls as we know it.
Yes.
She is not only Karina from Shellal, the pirate captain, space pirate captain.
Yes.
She also does some artwork for them and also designed all of Tafa Shui's stuff, from the
Yes.
gear to the naming to their story, which is Ayano and Asako's crew right now, and Himawari
That's
was
right.
an original member as well. So she has this artistic and creative vision for Actwres, Action Ring Girls and ARG that I'm really glad we're able to see kind of play out, because if she did go elsewhere, it would have been cool seeing her, mixing it up here and there, and she would be all over the scene right now if she didn't get locked down to Stardom or TJPW.
Yes.
But we're seeing a new creativity play out and a new world play out in ARG, and I really wish that this was more accessible to us as fans overseas.
Yes. I
But
think
yeah,
ARG is something that would definitely, I think, draw in more fans,
yeah,
different fans, which I think is a good
yeah.
thing.
I think that if they can just get someone to interpret it, just
There,
translation,
yes,
subtitles, it would be massive in
yeah,
the Western Joshi fandom because I think people want to follow it and people, but the roadblocks are you can't watch the shows, and if you get the shows, you're maybe getting 50% out of it, which is still like great because it's still a wrestling show, it's still theatrical, and they're so expressive and great at expressing what's going on in the ring, uh, and expressing the stories by even just like the sound and the reactions. And I just think of that Skyrex show and
yep,
uh what was it, Miyuki's looking over Miku's shoulder and then they just start screaming, and it's just they're really good at conveying emotions and stuff that you don't actually need all of the context, but it would be very, very nice. And I think that that is a
yeah,
roadblock for a lot of people. If they want to jump in now, it would be really appreciated to do that. So that if they could just hire someone to do that, it would be great. But like I
right,
said, it's not going to be a priority of theirs. Their priority is going to be the live show experience. They're there to sell tickets. So
yes,
it is what it is. I know that we're not the priority, but I feel like there's so much potential with ARG where where they could really, really carve their own like spot in the Western Joshi fandom.
like I am not going to rest until Netflix offers her $10 million to make a Shell-All
Yeah.
Netflix series where we get to
Yeah.
see the ship crash. I want the prequel
Ooh.
where we
Yeah.
get to see them like running from the space cops or whatever.
Exactly. And then we'll figure out what's going on with the Yubi when she runs back into the arena screaming and doing some weird hand motions.
Oh gosh,
This
and this is how we get a Yumi back.
is how we get a Yumi back.
That's how we get a Yumi
Exactly.
back.
Was shoy.
What Washoy 2024.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a hat out of that. It's
Yeah.
yellow. It's just as a Washoy 2024.
Was shoy. That's going to be so much better than any other options we have in 2024.
Oh god.
Ooh. All right, off
I
the
don't want to think
political
about it.
soapbox, and now let's
Yeah, let's get out of there. Off the political
all right.
I can't even get involved.
We're showing for world leader
Yeah,
2024. It's our
there we
only
go.
real option.
And then she comes on to the Darth Vader music. It's like, oh, she's turned
Oh,
on
she
us.
did come out to the Darth Vader music
Yeah.
first, the
I
Skyrex show,
forget.
the Darth
I
Wishoy,
forget.
and that was
Yeah.
the show where Mari gave Kuma-chan a weapon.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was dangerous, very, very dangerous, but very, very good. Very fun moment with Kuma-chan wielding that sword and
Oh,
swinging it around behind Mari. Just a fun moment.
fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, and like this ARG really is a special thing, and she's such a part of that, and very committed to presenting it how she wants to. And there is nothing cooler in the world than a Shell entrance in person. I
Oh boy.
having
Yeah.
witnessed it in person, nothing is even close.
You get
Just
you,
the
you get you get Naru and or you get Otto. I'm sorry.
yep, Otto,
And enemy, and they do
yep,
the crossing cartwheels.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Flag
do the
bearer,
flippies, clam.
clam so hot right now.
Yep. She beat Taiwan on her debut. Wow.
It, look, it's clam.
It's Clam, yeah, the handsome
She hits you with
Clam.
a crack and it's over.
It's over. And Merge Jelly
Merge
with
jelly. Oh yeah,
with Pixis, the parrot.
that's right.
So
I hope they work out. I don't know. They haven't done it in a while. I believe that thing connects. I believe Fixis has a Bluetooth connection. So,
that's funny. That's
um,
that's very funny. But yeah,
yeah,
it's such a fun presentation, and
yeah,
it it's directed and whatnot by Matsumi Karino, who Mari
yeah.
has worked with in the past, but
That's
it
right.
wouldn't work without Mari.
Yes.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
work at all without her, and she's just such a freaking great performer, and like, does everything with 100% conviction. And when it comes to an art like stage art, she nails it. So
Yeah.
she's
And
a
I think
ninja, a pirate,
yeah,
a
ninja
wrestler,
director.
former wrestler,
Yeah.
director, uh, what is it? Creative artist for the
Creative
artist
artist,
director for the
jewelry maker,
jewelry
jeweler.
maker. So she really
Yeah.
can do anything.
Yeah. Like a
So
ninja should. You know.
yeah, exactly. Got to be multi-talented. Got to be able to diversify the everything. So
So we're saying
then
like Mario is basically Batman.
she's basically Batman, but like
Yeah,
better.
but better than
Yeah,
Batman
definitely.
without the unnecessary angst.
Yeah, and
Um, but yeah, I think
she's
her
a fox
saying,
too. It doesn't. It's fine. She's a fox.
yeah,
Yeah,
and oh, the mask. Yeah, she already has a sweet mask.
she did
Yes.
that. What was it? The Idol performance where they did the 3 songs out in the park, and she had
Yeah.
the mask on the whole time. That was a fun one.
Speaking of that mask, again, if you want to also look into the, I guess I kind of call it the lost years between the end of Reina and her transfer to Actress Girls, Fukumen Mania, which is a
Yes.
smaller kind of masked lucha style promotion out here in Japan.
Yep.
I believe they actually do a lot of mask work too. They just make masks for people. Um, they have a YouTube channel that
Yep.
has a number of Mari matches that kind of fill in that missing period.
Yeah.
So they're free.
And
You know, word of warning: those thumbnails are a little spicy. Uh,
yeah,
you know, and
not as bad as the thumbnail, but they
yeah,
can get
not as
spicy.
bad as the thumbnail or anything from VKF. But
Yep. There's some Mary
it's
stuff up there
close. It's
too.
close. But yeah, check out their channel.
Yep.
There's some good Mari matches in there that I think are kind of
Yeah.
lost because it's kind of in the period where she really wasn't in a promotion
Yep. And
and
there's
she's just
actually some
transferred to
good
Actress Girls.
like matchups in there. I mean, you have
Yeah,
I think Honma tie and some of that
yeah,
stuff. So there's
yeah,
some really
yes.
fun matchups in there, and yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. And
And I
there you
believe that is where she debuted the Fox mask. I can't remember
oh,
if she may have designed it. I believe they made it for her.
yeah,
That's kind of the gimmick. They make masks. So, but
that's very cool, and that's a
yeah,
very cool. That's like a perfect mask for her too,
yes, I,
especially
I love that.
when she's got the
Yeah,
red gear on, and yeah,
yeah, it's a great design. But oh, that'd be a great piece of merch if she could just make like
absolutely,
cheaper plastic ones of those.
yeah,
I'd buy it
it's a great
free.
look.
Yeah,
Just a cool, just cool. She's very very good at the visual part, like from the gear to presenting stuff like Shellal and Tao Flash. She gets it. The big sword, she gets it. She knows how important just that first impression walking through that curtain can be, and that mask is part of it too. When she has that mask,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's been pretty exciting. Again, cool. That's the word I would say. Mari,
yeah,
always cool,
always cool.
always a reliable choice.
Yep,
And
and
again, without her, I don't know what Actress Girls, not just ARG, but Actress Girls now would
yep,
look like.
because not just the creativeness and the vision of ARG, she's very involved in creating the stars and
Yes.
of AWG right now of Act Wrestling. She's very much part of that old crew, the old guard that's showing the new girls like how to do it, how to wrestle, how to do things, how to be these well-rounded athletic stage performers. And it's been really really fun to watch a lot of them like become star, and like you see a lot of Mari in people like Naru and in Natsuki, and the people she's worked with for a long time. But you see just how her fingerprints are all over the promotion as well.
That's right. Yeah, and I mean, it's no surprise that some of the earliest crossovers from ARG to um AWG have been the Shell crew. Like, I think Natsuki was one of the first.
Yep.
Yeah, and then followed by Koki and Naru about the same time, I think.
Yeah. Naru might have been a little before
Maybe a little
Koki.
before, one or two
Because
shows before.
Koki, I don't think Koki actually debuted in the ring and act wrestling until the actual reboot.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Naru was like right there, right around that last Color Z. Yeah, because Naru was. I remember Naru being in the ring when they were tossing Tai up on the last Actwres
Yeah.
show. So yeah, she was part of that, like the little
Everyone's favorite.
carryover crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you had Koki, who has worked with
Yes.
Marty since that, and you have like just a cool crew coming in and working that kind of like early on, and a lot of that is based on like Mari's training and working with Mari and Shellall and the not like the nonstop work together. And you could tell when they get all in the ring together that there is that chemistry. I mean, Mari throws Naru, and Naru does
Yes.
a vaulting moonsault off of Mari's hand. So it's a very cool to see that. But she is just one of the main trainers in Actwres Girls at this point,
Yes.
effectively. So again, I don't know what Actwres Girls would look like without Mari at this point.
That's, I think it'd be definitely a different thing. Um,
Yep.
like you said, I don't think we'd have acting, or we'd have a very maybe a much smaller scoped acting that's mostly just Kaguya and
Yep.
maybe
It,
one or two others.
yeah, I feel like she's like the glue that would have held it together because Kaguya's having trouble keeping people. Hagakure has seen turnover,
Right.
and
And
yeah, Shell's been like the solid.
yeah,
Even Skyrex lost people, gained people, so it's that's been a solid has been Shell. So I can't
yeah,
losing Mari would have been a just losing the only stability that they kind of really had there. So it's really important that she's still there.
right. And that I think that brings us to our main point of why her ultimate victory, taking the Actress Girls
Yeah,
title, is such a big thing because she's worked so hard. I think some people maybe, because match wise, she wasn't really in contention for most of 2023.
yeah,
Like it didn't seem like she was in there.
yeah,
It's really like the last 2 3 months she kind of hopped in and
yeah.
said, "I'm going for this thing."
It didn't seem like a championship was really in the forefront of her mind, especially like
No.
early on. It really was like we gotta like solidify this roster. She's gonna
Yes.
go for the like these working like a lot of tag matches, like with Haruka Ishikawa and then Naru, and just very much like help elevate people, get people up the roster, get people up the ranks,
100%.
and really kind of help them prove themselves, and then just do it again with someone else
Yeah.
or something. And that's part of like what Mari's story has been, though. It's very much like a ninja. Just don't be seen, don't be heard.
Yeah.
Do work, help people, elevate people. And even like as she was getting closer and closer to the match, you could tell she was like, okay, is this, you know, is this for me? Like her tweets included stuff like she still felt like she was an outsider, even though she was the heart and soul. She'd been there longer than pretty much anyone else, but because she has a history from Reina,
Right.
there was a bit of an outsider thing, and like she had to prove to herself that she did belong in Actress
That's
Girls,
right. Yeah.
despite the fact that she is involved in every little intricate detail of training. She's the producer of the Hanneken TV show. She does the portraits.
Yeah.
She does so many things, and she's like part of the story was that she still needed to prove to herself that she is an actress girl.
And I would honestly say it. She is maybe the actress girl.
Yeah, I think that anyone watching from outside can go, like, Marty, you are the actress girl. You are the heart and soul of this promotion. You and Miku, like it is forever intertwined. That's why this match felt so big, was because you had the heart and the soul of actress girls like finally fighting over a belt. And one thing about Mari is you put her in a match, you put her in the ring, she will do whatever it takes to win.
That's right. That's right. And great match, fantastic match. As expected, these two know each other well. Yeah, good fit. I mean, it capped an amazing run by Miku. Let's just make sure we give her credit.
Absolutely.
You know.
It's a great title run against so many different wrestlers, from the established ones like Maru and Act, to elevating young stars, to even really bringing legitimacy to an outsider like Asahi. Just what an incredible run from start to
Yeah.
finish. And you could not have picked a better inaugural champion of the reboot. You really couldn't.
Yeah. 100%. Just like she was close to it. I think near the end of the last Actress Girls iteration. Um,
Yeah, I mean, she was the tag champ, and she was a star by then.
That's right. And what one could say when she won that title, when Miku won, she had finished her story.
Yeah,
Um, unlike some losers in this world, Cody.
right.
Um, and then
We got to get Natsuki in the chicken suit to go to WrestleMania this year.
oh please, just WrestleMania 40. I just want Mari to step out. She's in the rafters, Ninja Gear. Cody loses again because he's Cody, and then she just throws the chicken at him, and that's just like just a reminder, just a reminder who you are, Cody. Anyways, but another thing, kind of following up your point of her ushering in the next generation. I really liked on 1-5 her first show as champ, and what she does, opening match, goes in there with one of the rookies, Alba Chi, and yeah,
Yep.
puts her through the paces. It was great, and I thought
Yeah.
maybe Alba looked maybe the best she has so
Yeah.
far. So
Absolutely. I thought she looked great there in that match,
and
and it Mighty brings the best out of everyone
yes,
whenever you see her in a match, and it's been really really cool to see her now finally get that belt. So like that match was great, just from start to finish, and the emotion once that three hit the three count on that pin, that
yes,
trapping pin, that just wow, that moment, the screams from the fans, from me at home watching, and from
yep.
Mari herself, just the
Oh yeah,
emotion
she let out
of the moment,
an
just
emotional scream because she
like
knew.
like even if you look at it from the kayfabe world where it's a points match, they knew who was going to win coming into it, but you start where we started, from like ninja shows at that Narita Airport, and you go over a decade later to a world champion. So and with things from a promotion that was in flux, a promotion shut down. It almost happened again with Actwres girls.
Yep.
It the question mark, a year ago of what was Actwres girls going to be. 2 years ago was the big question mark, but even a year ago they didn't have a championship. They were still kind of figuring things out, and then now they have a huge roster. They have such a bright future, and for her to finally take her spot as the spearhead, as the flag bearer, as the person at the top of the promotion, that's got to be incredible. That all that work from ninja shows to Reina to bouncing around promotions to finally having a home to working your way up the colors thing to finally being champion.
Yes.
It's an incredible ride, and you were along for a lot of it. So I can't even imagine what you felt when you saw that the result.
I felt so happy. Again, I just remember her earliest days because yeah, I mean again, pecking order wise, Reina, she was uh technically I would say with Yuina,
Yeah,
right? Because even once Konami came in, Konami kind of definitely was pulling ahead, and then even though again Konami I think joined later, maybe a little bit later, yeah. And but she was always up there. As I was always a big supporter of her, and then I was glad she landed on her feet pretty quickly because I was worried. I was like, oh, Reina's done.
yeah.
She's maybe she goes back to ninja work. I don't know. Maybe she's done with this.
And you look at like other wrestlers whose promotions have closed. Even Reina, like they get lost in the shuffle. They don't get
That's
picked
right.
up. They work a couple of dates here and there, and they just go, well, I guess that's it for me. I'm just going to
Yeah,
retire. I'm going to graduate. Whatever. It's the end. But she kept at it. She kept doing it.
because there were I think a couple. I mean, we I think a lot of people don't know this. Like near the end of Reina is when we had Itsuki Aoki debut, the only
Yeah.
fully trained Makoto wrestler, I believe. I believe Makoto said she's my only disciple. Um, and I believe Aoki took a bit of a break because she wasn't sure she wanted to continue with pro wrestling. I remember she was in university at the time, I believe.
And like for a young woman who's trying to get her foot in the door in life and adulthood, it's for your to work towards a debut and to train so hard and to have it all kind of fall apart. it's definitely like it's not a fun experience, and it
No,
may sour you on the whole thing. But I'm glad that she's also still doing it because she's fantastic.
oh, she's Itsuki is one of my favorites. I will do a thing, some podcast thing talking about the next gens.
Yeah,
And as a person who owns two Itsuki calendars,
hell
I have to
yeah,
say the future, one of the
absolutely.
future talents. Um, but yeah, again, Mari, I'm glad she stuck with it. I was always happy, like following her and then watching her again. I think take more and more of a leadership role
Yeah,
has always been great because again, when Reina stopped, she just kind of followed Makoto around for a while.
yep,
I remember that was going on, and then but then she fully dedicated herself to Actress Girls. I thought was great, and even in Actress Girls, she was kind of that first generation in Colors.
yep,
Saki had the lead there.
yeah,
That was Colors was Saki's vision, and I think Mari definitely put input in there,
yeah,
but I think she was more than happy to let Saki take the lead. I think if things had continued in that direction, we'd still probably see her more than happy to let others go in front. But now that
yep,
she has become the heart and soul of this promotion, I think she's more than happy. I think she's ready. She's
yeah.
personally ready to,
I,
to, to be the face of this company
when
for a
when I
bit.
think about even now, like she still took a bit of a backseat role to Miku because everyone was praising Miku, and I felt like she could have been an early challenger, but she wasn't because she knew that Koki Koki's going to be a future ace somewhere as long as she
Yes.
continues to improve and keep at it. As long as she keeps doing it, there's no ceiling for Koki. And
Yeah.
and
And to be honest, I would say this too for Natsuki. I
yeah,
think Natsuki
Natsuki.
has
Yeah,
an amazing wealth of talent. To be honest, like for a while, I thought Natsuki was gonna be the one they're gonna push to the moon
yeah,
first, but it looks like she's about even with Koki.
yeah. I said on another like podcast, I feel like Koki, Natsuki, and even like Chika's starting to get a bit of a warm up here. She's yeah,
Chika,
so
yeah, another great project, another person who we all had questions because I remember her debut
yeah, it
match
it
the day or week before she tweeted this could be the one time I
yeah,
do this,
and like it
and
wasn't
now look at her.
it had some rough spots for the debut. Who doesn't have some rough spots in their debut? And she's been like a highlight of every show she's been on in the last like 3 months.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah, I'm dead.
yeah,
Well,
and
you chant for that GCS.
exactly,
You want to hit the
exactly,
GCS.
yeah. And well, Mari was part of that too.
Yeah,
She beat her immediately early on.
yeah.
So it's Mari has a special way of just figuring out what works for a wrestler and helping
Yes.
them develop that. And like you see it in her matches, especially with the young talent. Like she amplifies them so beautifully.
Yeah, I bring this up in a podcast that may or may not be coming out shortly, but yeah, I think Mari and Actress Girl's approach to it, in my opinion, is the reverse of a lot of other wrestling
Yeah.
promotions. A lot of wrestling promotions they focus on the skills first, get the wrestler built, and
Yep.
then worry about the character. I think Actress Girl comes at it from the other end, right? It's like, what's your character? Cool. Let's see if we can get you enough skills
Exactly.
to get that character in the ring.
Here's a drop kick and a forearm. Everything else we'll figure
Yeah,
out later.
yeah. Dropkick, forearm, tie up,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
Can you run the
Half
ropes?
crab.
Half
Yep.
crab,
And then we'll figure it
a
out from
sweet
here.
schoolboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, and then they figure it out from
Yep.
there. And I think that's kind of like a very winning
Yeah.
formula
And that
for Actress Girls.
exact. Yeah.
And Mari, I think, is a big part of that.
Exactly. She like she's always been like a fundamentally sound wrestler, like for
Yeah,
a
because I
long,
think
long time.
I'm sure she took her naturally athletic ninja skills, and then she's like, "How can I apply this into the wrestling ring?"
Yeah, like I said, you just got to give them the tools to succeed, and a lot of them will figure it out on their own. They'll even just watching and just being in the ring, doing the reps. You give them a very basic core, and the hardest thing for wrestlers to do is to connect with the crowd. I feel like connect as a character, and when someone debuts, and like I was talking about it on another podcast, that like everyone in the company has a defined character for the most part. there's a couple of like, where are we going with this, or like, or someone who hasn't shown up or hasn't like been on a lot of shows, and it's hard to really establish yourself. But other than that, like I would say, other than like two people, everyone is such a perfectly like under like even as a foreigner can understand what the gimmick is, from the moves in the ring to just their entrance, their gestures, the facial reactions to moves and stuff. It's so easy to figure out and hop in. You don't need all of this lore. You can just go, oh, like this person's coming out here and hitting people with a bear. That's, we know what's going on there. This person is screaming every time they enter the ring, and they're doing a million sentons. Like, it's okay. We got something here. There's something like, oh, like there's something just very, uh, yeah, just simple
Yes.
and about it. But there's also just like something like, how is no one else like doing it like them? Because it seems so simple. Because like, oh yeah, give them the tools and then let them be themselves, or let them develop a character themselves. And like, yeah, it really has become like just such fun to watch. Like Marty put that in them from day one.
Yeah.
And like that's like what Marty was. She was a solid wrestler from the start, but she was a ninja. And that's always been part of her presentation. She's always, and like maybe that's why everyone in Actwres is able to do it, because
Yeah.
it worked for Marty and it was such a strength of hers. Like that, the first match, she's got the gear's very similar
Yes.
to what she's doing now. Like the ninja gear, the mask.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I think her current gear is very much still the lineage of
Yeah,
the gear she started with.
yeah. It's simple. She's a ninja who's a wrestler,
Because
and
not everyone does that. I mean, let's talk about her fellow worker in Reina, Konami. If
yep,
you go back in the archives and look at Neon Sailor Suit Konami, it's a very different Konami
yep,
than we have today.
yep, yeah. Well, Konami's like, there's something else to be said for being like a career wrestling chameleon, like Konami.
Yes,
Like she's done a
yes,
lot of really cool things in her career, from QQ, TC, even just in Stardom, QQ,
yeah.
TCS, and Oedo Tai, and all that. She's done some very, very cool things. But I feel like when you're debuting 30 people and you're building a company from the ground up, it's stability is such a big thing. And I feel like Madi being able to like help them establish a character from day one, and they all build on it. You go back and you see like in this system, it took a while to put herself first. I still don't think she put herself first in the company, because it took her a while to actually challenge Miku, and it wasn't even like a really like, oh, like I'm gonna do this. It was like, all right, it's my time to step up. Like I got to, it's my time, and I can't lose. I'm a ninja. I'm Mari. I can't, and like that's gonna carry on even in her next match, which is going to happen in a few hours, which is the Royal joining match. Like, I don't know if she wants to be a member of the Royal, but it's a wrestling match, and she doesn't intend to lose. So she's got the portraits ready. She's got the look ready. She's got everything ready for when she wins
Yeah.
and joins the Royal, because she's so confident in her abilities, and she will not lay down and she will not back down. She's someone who will always rise to a challenge. And who knows, when this is out, we'll know the winner, the result. We could speculate how that match is going to go, but
I am still pulling though for Mari's own faction of
yeah,
ninjas.
I would love to. I would love to see that. And like Sayhara would fit. Like it's funny because Sayhara's like a squirrel, and she's been bouncing
Yep.
around, like maybe joining Teppen or whatever, and just kind of you're starting to see like a friendship between Madi and Sayhara, even like outside the ring, be more visible. So it just be
I think
kind
they're
of,
very similar souls in
yeah,
that they are two people with
yeah,
very strong outside backgrounds that are coming in to
yep,
this pro wrestling thing,
yep.
giving it their all.
And they both performed like the AST stuff recently at Tokyo Comic Con, so that'll be
Yes.
a really fun pairing. And yeah, there's other people who I think would match up really, really nice with Madi overall. And Ishikawa, her first tag partner in Actress Girls was Madi from Haruka Ishikawa.
Yep.
So, but she's not a full timer.
No, she's
So
got a
she has
lot
a
of career
lot
stuff going on.
a lot of things going on. Very, very cool. Very, very nice that she's able to fill her time with that. But someone like just said like, oh, like what's her deal? Like why don't we see her off? And like she's who I'm talking about when I'm saying like somebody who hasn't been able to completely develop the character just because she's not around that often.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
if you put her in a faction with the Mahdi or something, like okay, you immediately have a reason for her to be there. So it would just only strengthen the roster if you do something like that. I think she would be a good fit for that. And they were tag partners for the tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it makes sense. So, and I think that Mari is just so concerned about making Actwres girls better. And
yes,
when she finally won the belt, it finally solidified in her mind that she is an Actwres girl. I think she's now part of that company's history, and it can never be erased. She
yeah.
is their champion. She is the second world champion of this era, and no one can take that away from her. No one's going to erase that from the record books. No one's going to erase that from awg.wrestlinggood.com.
No, no, no one can
no,
do that.
no one can do that except me, and I will never do that. She
Never.
is finally proved to herself, proved to all of us, she belongs, and that she is everything that like we all build her up to be. She is the heart and the soul. Like Miku may be the heart, but like Mari's the soul.
Yes.
Yeah, well deserved championship victory, even from the whole point system, kayfabe, whatever point of view. It's somebody who truly embodies everything about Actress Girls in such a big way.
And I'm excited to see who she elevates because I feel like that'll be the story of her title reign is her elevating a lot of the younger
Miku's
talent.
was Miku's is one of just you know power. She overpowered everyone, but just getting to her was a statement. And Mahdi doesn't have the same power. She's shown to be foul. She's lost matches to Koki. She is somebody who can and will elevate people. That's going to be what she does. She's going to the matches are probably going to be closer than Miku's defenses,
Yes.
I would
I
say.
think it's gonna be
So,
you see a lot more craftier roll ups
yeah.
and ninja
Yeah.
trickery.
And even the win was a trapping pin. It
That's right.
was yeah, so she's someone who's not going to be overpowering. She's not going to just outclass her opponents. She might out finesse them, but she's not going to lariat them to death.
Yes.
Maybe she'll kick them to death. That's something that
I could see a
she
kick
can do pretty good.
victory
Yeah,
against like Asako.
yeah. Or like I don't know. Like I would say like Yui, but Yui's new, but she's been powerful.
Oh boy,
She's
yeah.
been able to.
Let's
Yeah,
yeah. You know,
she's been
Yui
able
got a
to.
great match against Goto Chica.
Yeah, and I was like, crap, is she gonna pull a upset? But Chica's been elevating herself too. Like we said, last 3 months especially,
because
everything she's been doing has been absolute joy.
Yui is another one of those talents. She kind of has it all. If you put
Yep,
it all together, and I
she
think she's
absolutely
immediately
does.
connected with the fans. And
And it doesn't hurt that she's from Nara.
yeah, it doesn't hurt that she's from
So
Nara.
no,
Um,
yeah,
not gonna lie, thanks to her, I've become more interested in bath salts. So or bath
wow,
bubbles or
yeah,
bath bombs. I was
yep.
like,
No, she's awesome, and she's got such presence from day one, and
yeah,
she's got also a million things going on in
yes,
terms of like
another
idol
person who
performances.
on the outside
She's
has
been in like
a to it.
multiple idol groups and all that. She's someone like look,
Aspiring voice
all you,
actress.
all you gotta do is give them like a drop kick, a forearm,
Yeah,
and a roll up pin, and they'll take care of the rest because of that theater background. And she is such a big example of that.
yeah.
Like she is just her move set is very cool and tailored to her, but her presence is something you just can't teach. Like you can't teach that quickly.
No, no. I think she came in real natural to it.
Yep.
So but yeah,
Yeah.
very excited for her in 2024. So yeah, kind of maybe bringing this Praise Mari train to a close. Who do we see as potential early challengers to the throne?
I want to see like Natsumi win the belt, but I don't know if it'll be for Mari.
Yeah, it might not be for
Uh,
Mari.
I think we'll get a good challenge out of it because Natsumi technically didn't challenge Miku for the belt. She
Yep.
had two matches with Miku, one before the belt was established, and then one in the tournament to get to crown the champion.
Yes.
So I really do think that she should have a championship match, a real championship match at some point. And she's been talking about it, and she won against Koki. It's something that I think they're heading towards, but I don't think she's going to be the one to beat her.
Yeah.
But I think that like a Natsuki match would be fantastic. I think that pending what happens on this Royal show, a Koki match. I mean, either way, Koki versus Madi is going to burn the house down.
I think
I
it'd be an
think
excellent match.
because like I've said in the past, Koki seems to have plateaued a bit. I think that maybe it's not even that she's plateaued. It's just that everyone around her has grown so rapidly, and she
Yes. Yeah.
debuted so brilliantly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think others have stepped up to the level.
Yeah, like Matsuki, I think in ways has surpassed her. I think Goto, especially the last 3 months, has really shown maybe she is the true tall girl of the Royal, and it's maybe that's something that plays into like something that happens next with Koki. Maybe that's the next chapter in Koki's story is something else, something different.
Yep.
And maybe that's what she needs. Maybe she needs a kick and a big shift to really get that momentum back that she's been kind of sitting on. And it it may be just part of the story that they're telling because this is all a story. This is all act wrestling.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily in ring competition that's deciding that this is a story. Maybe part of Koki's story is just getting stuck as a B plus player until she breaks through
Well, she's
because
dyed her hair black, so
she
she's
has
serious
she needs
now.
something. She needs something to break through because she is like limitless potential, like personified from like her move set proves it, her look proves it, she's got the height. She is somebody who is just somebody you could build a promotion around. And Actress has pretty much built the promotion around her and Miku and Mari and Natsumi and she's one of those original pillars of the reboot. And like to see her kind of stay where she was and other people elevate, it's been a fascinating
I
story.
think it's a great
and
story.
the in-ring results, I'm not going to say the performance because the performance has been solid. She's solid, but the in-ring results, the losses, the losing the big matches, all that, it's telling a story. We're getting somewhere.
Yes.
And what happens in a few hours, might truly define the whole year for Actwres girls if something happens on this Royal produced show in that four-way.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited for it, and when this releases, we'll already have the answers.
Yes.
But and I think a lot of people are excited about it. I talked to other fans about it, and we're like, yeah, there's a lot that can happen here. And you look at the schedule and you go, it's just the proto shows for the units, like they're almost happening in a bubble, but there's something about this Royal one that really has me going, maybe there's something here to this. And then you have the Teppen super group,
That's
and you
right.
have the Jidoshu Heart. Like things are spilling over into the produce shows. So it's becoming something you have to really keep an eye on, where maybe the first Jidoshu show you could have been like, oh yeah, we could just skip that. It's in its bubble, it's kind of on an island. Now it feels like everything has a story going into it and maybe have a story coming out of it. So it's exciting.
I can't say for sure about the plans, but I definitely feel like after that first Jidoshu Produce show, which might have been an experiment, this could be the result. They're like, oh, that was fans really like that.
Yeah,
Let's
the
do it.
Joshi, the first Joshi show was fantastic, and yeah, having each unit have one is really cool. The Royal Jordan match should be crazy with Asako thrown in as a wild card. It it's going to be just a fun ride
I mean,
this month.
speaking of challengers, let's not forget the always speed star Misa Matsui
Yeah.
is
Oh
coming at
yeah.
you at any time.
Yeah. Definitely. Wow, I can't believe I strayed so far from the challengers, but As somebody who really loved the Stardom Golden Week shows,
Yeah,
this is probably me territory. I love this the unit shows, but yeah, that's a great pick too. I think that Matsui and Mari match up so well. They always have,
yeah,
and they go back to colors. So
yeah. There's a built-in story there,
yep,
and
and Matsui, when she has an opportunity, she always grabs it. Like
yes,
just the colors tournament from was it 2021, 2021, where she ended up challenging Saki. Uh, like that was incredible. That whole run, just that tournament, like she upset people, she drew and ended up advancing just on technicalities and stuff. But she made the most of it each time, and every single match was really really good. And that was when Matsui went from going, oh, like she's cool, to like, wow, this girl's like the future of pro wrestling if they just let her wrestle. And
oh yeah. I mean, I think people forget her contemporary. She came up with people like Haruka Umasaki, who's currently champion
yeah,
Diana,
yeah,
and like there is arguments to be made. If Misa had decided to go freelance, she might be in a similar position, holding some belts right now.
absolutely. She she's just like she is such a talented wrestler and a high speed wrestler, and her ability to just really get you invested in the matches, either as like a being a meanie in the ring,
Yep.
or just a determined underdog. She's fantastic at both. And like I feel like the colors chart, the Saki, the lead up to that, her match at Saki is such a great example of what she can do as just even as like a younger wrestler, just to truly challenge, knock on that door, and have that determination. She's someone it's so believable with. So yeah, that challenge is gonna be fantastic, and maybe
Yeah.
she'll be the one to beat her. Like
Could be. I mean,
I
I
think
could
that's
see
a
both of that.
possibility.
That's another
Um,
story that needs to be told.
yeah,
Is Misa's, I think, somewhat, yeah, because again, I think Misa is another person who's kind of taken
yeah,
a back seat to help a lot of these talents breathe. She could easily
yeah,
have overridden a lot of these talents and just said, I'm gonna, you know, work
yeah,
my ass off. And but I feel like she's really helped a lot of the new
yeah,
young wrestlers
and,
develop.
and
So
and she's someone who's, I guess, fighting off the rookies too. Like,
that's right.
you know,
Yeah,
seeing her against Mizushima and stuff. Like she's fighting off these rookies who are really firing the shot across the bow of the veterans. It's constantly happening in Joshi, but it's magnified here because the difference in experience between a Matsui and a Naru isn't that big.
no,
It
no,
really isn't that wide, but there is that chip on the shoulder of I'm an original. I'm from the before times,
yes,
and I'm here to defend that. To defend my decision to not go to Stardom or to Ice Ribbon or whatever. To my decision to stay here and build something here, and we built this for you, and now we got to fight you off. And that's
that's
always
right.
a fun story, and that's something that they do here and there, and it's definitely something that it's something that you really can't get tired of because you're going to always have that dynamic, and you can do it so many different ways with the different wrestlers. And even like when Natsumi challenged, uh, well, she didn't challenge Miku, but the match felt very much like Miku defending from an outsider,
Yeah,
even though Natsumi had been off the scene for almost a decade. So it there's all these dynamics, and they really know how to play to each to the even the outside stuff. They really know how to get you invested as a fan.
yeah,
And Misa is such a great pick for challenger.
yeah.
Um,
I hope she's one of the challenges. Maybe not the
yeah,
one who wins, but definitely a challenger.
yeah, and I could see a win, but I don't know. I think that Mari might elevate someone like a Koki. I think Koki is
I
going to
could see that. I
be
could
a
see
big
that.
one. I think that like Natsuki is going to be a challenge that absolutely rules. Um,
Oh,
Asahi,
let's not forget. Speaking of outsiders, let's not. She's going away on a journey, but when she comes back, I could see Act Yasukawa coming back with a taste for gold.
she is going to come back energized from her American excursion, and she's the drunken samurai, and
Yeah,
she's gonna have her eye on a ninja, and that's gonna be a very interesting thing. I'm really looking forward to what Act brings back from America. Uh,
Maybe
she's
who?
gonna.
Maybe she's gonna bring. Maybe we
Yeah,
get
it
our
could be a
first
who,
foreign act wrestler.
which could totally happen. I mean, it might be someone like Aspen who she's working with over here. It's definitely a possibility, and the outsiders that they've brought, like I think someone like that might mesh really well. Uh, there's not as much of like a need to be a complete in-ring wrestler as there is if you're in Stardom, because in Stardom they
Yes,
just kind of throw you to the wolves,
exactly.
and in like TJPW, usually if you're a foreigner, you're in like the top of the card. But I feel like an Actress, they could just plug you in anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look at Arena, who's doing some amazing stuff, and
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
she's just kind of plugged in there, almost like on paper it looks random, but every time she's in there, it's brilliant. So yeah,
Yeah, but
they're.
I really enjoyed the best body match.
I
Best
would love
body
to see her.
versus
I would love to see
seniors
that
match.
be a defense. I think that would be a really cool defense.
Yeah, just yeah, fantastic. I think I don't know where it's going. It's early days. From Evo, if this All Japan relationship continues,
Ooh,
and maybe we can get some Evo in there. Zones and Chi Chi, I think would do
yeah,
great.
yeah, they
That
would be great. I think that they just want to keep them separate from what I've seen, but I
I
would love
believe
to
so.
see it.
Also, again, from what we've seen from past dealings, a prerequisite would probably be that, unfortunately, Evolution would have to limit their outside
Yeah,
interactions. And
yeah, and I think that actually wouldn't benefit Zonas and Chi Chi as much.
no, 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 no.
But even though like I say, an Actress is really really good at creating captivating in ring talent, I just don't. I think that that's just a different project altogether. And
Yes.
I would love to see the crossover though, because I think that they would be like, especially Chi Chi. Zonas would be really cool, like a Koki showdown or a Miku
Yep.
showdown.
Yeah.
Would be awesome. But Chi Chi, like throwing it in there with Update Plus or something, it would be
Yeah. That's it. There's some natural
yeah.
fits
There's just
there.
yeah, exactly. So it would be fun, but I don't see it happening just because of the philosophies of both promotions.
Yes, and
And
kind of going back
as
to All Japan, some of the news they lost Shuji Shikawa. Shuji Shikawa was one of the architects, I think, of Evolution. Uh,
yeah,
Not the main one. Suwama's still there, and
yeah,
I believe they have others involved too, helping. Tsukasa Fujimoto was one of the early names
yeah,
listed as working on that project. Um, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
yeah.
Again,
I
I
I want to
never say
say
never.
yeah, I
But
want to say cautiously optimistic about it,
yeah,
because I'm like I would love to see it, and I could see them both fitting in really really well. But I just know that it's a big hill to get over for both
yeah,
promotions, and
definitely.
I'd love to see it.
But again, a wealth of great challengers. I would love to see a me challenge from
Me,
Mari, because that would be
absolutely,
a wonderfully entertaining match, I think.
yeah,
And I think it would
definitely,
also be a very athletic match. I think people forget Me is actually a pretty good wrestler in there.
yeah,
She's the number
and
one
like
idol, but she's a great wrestler.
yeah, and like since the reboot, she's been adding more and more stuff to her repertoire, and like she's been really really solid in the ring.
When Ayano heals up, I'd like to see that too. Again, another
Same,
last gen
yeah,
actress girl that I think
colors,
has claim to the title shot.
yeah, I would love to see that just now, because the watching them go from colors and the separate paths now, especially in the new Actress girls, when Mari, on the surface is this is the straightforward ninja, the very the heart and soul, everyone is built right, and then you have Ayano, who is a chaos person now, like
Yes.
a founder of Beast Rebellion, is the current leader of Beast Rebellion, just somebody who will just whose whole goal is to bring darkness upon Actress girls, and whatever. Amazing. So that's just like the last time like they really matched up in any serious way, they both changed so much. So that would be really fun to see them both kind of loop it back to those days, and connect it back, because they're both from the originals. They're both from Colors. They're both just and they're both have grown so much, and it's just it's a perfect perfect pairing there for a shot.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think we'll see like a Mizushima or a Naho or someone challenge. I think that they could, and it would be a great match. But I think that they're in that mid card,
yeah.
and
But again,
it's
I feel with Mari, anything's possible, and I think
yeah.
if she
I
wanted
think
to help push one of them, I could totally get behind one of those title shots.
yeah. I think that we'll see like a like I said,
Also,
Natsuki and
again, don't
Nadu.
forget point match, and I'm going to tell you right now, point match wise, someone like
Yeah,
Naho moves portraits.
yeah.
If you
So
want
I'm
to talk
thinking
about,
we might see like another tournament, another rookie or like newcomer or
yeah,
post reboot tournament, and I could see either of them winning it, and that's how they would get a title shot.
also, yeah,
I could,
yeah,
I think that there's a few different paths. Like Naho versus Madi would be a fun one. I
yeah,
think that would be a really fun one. So there's plenty of different options. It's exciting because I felt like with Miku it was just like this massive mountain, and the part of the prize is just getting to her. And now that
yes,
someone's got to her, someone's beat her, but it's someone who isn't an overpowering presence. Somebody who can be beaten, who has been beaten one on one by various people who I would consider contenders. So it's going to be a good, interesting title reign, and I think Natsumi is a given. I think Koki is very likely, and it could end at Koki if
okay,
she's
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it
yeah.
because put over your protege. Yeah,
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, it's exciting, very exciting future
very
for
very
Actwres.
exciting time. A lot of potential. I mean, to be honest, again, another one I'd love to see her tie up with someone with a lot of experience. Maru, I know Maru had a title shot.
Maru.
I wouldn't mind her getting another one.
Oh yeah, and yeah, like again, you get to see new, Maru take a new approach to a championship match because it's not
Yep.
Miku now; it's Mari. So, yeah, it's it. It's just there's so much new potential at the top of the card. So it's gonna be fun watching these Korakuens and even like some of the bigger Shinkiba shows going forward. Going to be a lot to keep an eye on when it comes to the title picture. And yeah, yeah, I think that we covered pretty much everyone. I think would make it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and I am actually, to be honest, I'm looking forward to the ones I'm not even thinking about. The ones that maybe Mari, she's seeing
yeah,
potential, and it's kind of like this. Oh yeah, this would be a cool match.
yeah, we'll get the Kanamiku
Get the
defense, and it's
Kanemiku
gonna
title
fucking
match. We'll,
rule.
we'll, we'll get
Yeah,
the Bulldozer Todoroki title
yeah,
match.
yeah,
That's would be awesome.
exactly. It there's so much that and like she'd make those just rule so
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Kanamiku like
Oh
you
my god! Again,
just
talk
give her
about
the
that
championship
dynamic one
now.
five.
Yeah. She's someone who just whole heart fighter is really fun
Yeah,
to watch. So yeah,
just going in on it, it was fantastic. That match again. I got to go back and rewatch the Secret Captains match.
that was amazing.
Everyone's stepping up in that match. I
Yeah,
feel.
that was such a great match. It's really strong start to the year for Actwres with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Fantastic stuff. But yeah, I think that's looking here. It's a solid 2 hours of praising Mario
2 hours
almost.
of praising Mari, which is a
Yeah.
lot, and it's more than the 45 minutes you said we were going to do on that first episode.
But closing thoughts. Yeah, exciting year for Actress Girls. Oh, I wish I could go to some of these unit shows, but unfortunately they put it on a weekday night. So hopefully we'll see. We'll see. I think I'm able to catch one of them.
Well, it'll be on nets,
Um,
and they'll be there for you.
but yeah, you know what? If you at home, much like me, cannot catch these shows live, there's a great solution for 1,000 yen, which is currently, as of this recording, $6.89 United States funny money. You too can enjoy all the Actress Girls you could possibly want. Almost all of it. The VR stuff's on YouTube.
Yep. And also, so some of the very back catalog stuff, like, and
Yes.
also the
Yes.
AWG and Reina and a few other things are all up on their YouTube subscription, which is, I believe, $9.99 a month, US dollar reduce. But
Yeah.
also
Standard US.
it's a cool, and I would suggest like if you're getting into the promotion, you want to learn a little bit more of the history, grab it for like a month and just dive in. You'll see like some of the really early stuff. You're not going to get like
Yeah.
um, the first show, like the act prologue or whatever. You're not going to get I know dancing to Pretty Fly for a White Guy and some of those other stuff. But there's so much stuff back there, and there's like guest appearances that you're like, wow, I can't believe like that was there, and it's only available on the YouTube. So like if you're getting into it and you want to learn more about the history, it's a good grab for a month. But if you're not into the VR stuff, Nets is always the way to go. So you'll be able to watch all the upcoming unit shows on Nets, as well as you'll go back to like pretty much everything in the Act Wrestling era. So well worth it, and these shows are going to be so awesome. They're this one that's happening in a few hours. I am so excited for just to even like read the results because a lot can happen on these shows, and then I'll go back and watch and I'll have a blast because they've been fun. They've been so much fun, and Natsumi and Natsuki and Chika and Koki, just a cool team who who are going to put together a really fun show. So definitely
Yeah.
worth checking out. Then you have the Teppen show, which should be a lot of fun. Those are some crazy people too in Teppen. So anything's on the table there, and then Jidoshu, we have the hardcore match.
That's
So
right.
that's going to be
Which we got a taste of from Korakuen
yep.
Hall,
So
which was
we're gonna have to yeah.
fantastic.
That's something you're gonna have to pay attention to as well. First hardcore match in Actwres. So it Maru, it's gonna be the influence of Maru. It's gonna be so cool. It's shaping up to be a completely different kind of show than the first Jidoshi produced show, and that's awesome
Yes.
too. And then you got Beasts coming up too. So yeah, a lot going on in January for someone who loved those Stardom unit shows from the Golden Weeks back in the day. This
Yep.
is
Yep.
exactly what I want out of a promotion. So yeah, eh, and without Marty, we probably wouldn't have any of it, or at least it would look
That's
very
right.
different. And I think that her being a leader, a locker room leader for everyone, you see her out, after shows with people, both like her crew and also outside of her crew, seeing her hanging out with all them. She's such a leader for everyone, and she's such a undeniably important part of that promotion. And we've talked about her for 2 hours now. We're crossing the 2 hour mark in literally 1 second. She is such a just incredible person, an incredible presence, an incredible teacher, and she's leading these young women to a career that like can be so like heartbreaking and just soul crushing, but she's doing it and leading them as someone who's gone through it.
Yes.
So
And
yeah, and that's probably her greatest strength is that she's somebody who is teaching that next generation way more than just a drop kick and a forearm.
yeah, and I think that's one of my biggest things. Again, actress girls in general, but also I think because of Mari is again the cultivation of their talents that they have already, and then adding in the wrestling. I think
Yep,
that's what makes actress girls, and I think that's what is key to Mari and the philosophy of that current
exactly.
promotion. So
Yeah,
praise Mari for that, for continuing it and making actress girls special because of it.
as we conclude episode 2.
Episode 2, praise Mari.
Yep, that's the title. Praise
That's the
Mari.
title. It has to be.
We can't end an episode,
Mhm.
without these two words,
Yep.
and those are praise Mari.
Praise Mari.
Thank you all for listening. Praise Mari.
Praise Mari. Do it more.
Okay. So that's episode 2 of AEW Boys. Thank you all for joining us. Right after this, Chris realized he actually could make it to the Royal Produce show, and made it there. He had a great time. Picked up some portraits and stuff. He got the 5-shot with the Royal. So all that stuff's up on his Instagram, his Twitter, at Chris2KLee, because I forgot to tell him to plug his stuff. So He's at Chris2KLee on Twitter. He's Brodus Drifter on Instagram. So check him out. Check that out. And thanks again for your support. And once again, praise Marty.
She's making jewelry now.